mostly a state of mind. For the Sapocanacan Indians, the village is an island of color and calm, lying somewhere between Wall Street and Union Square. In 1916, the painter John Sloan declared it an independent republic, and it is that, self-reliant and not easily influenced. Age doesn't matter here, because most who live here wonder and some are poets, some prognosticators, but in the village, everybody's young inside. Poets and philosophers have always flocked to the village. Here Joe Gould wrote, "In the winter I'm a Buddhist, in the summer I'm a nudist." Painters flock here too, and all schools of art, abstract expressionism, romantic realism, drippers and splatterers, the best and the worst can be found here. This is the Circle. On weekdays, it's a wading pool for village kids. But on Sundays, the water is turned off and the Circle becomes a meeting place for guitarists, bongo and banjo players, villagers on a stroll, folk singers, and tourists. The Circle is a good place to meet old friends and make some new ones. Washington Square Park is the center of things on Sunday afternoons. The park, in the past 200 years, has been a dueling field, a potter's field, a parade ground, an execution ground, and a health resort. Today it's just a park with trees and benches and seesaws, and that's the way the village likes it. Twice yearly for over half a century, there have been hundreds of artists exhibiting in the world's largest outdoor art show. Some are fine, many are not. But if you say you're a painter, and you've got the paintings to prove it, you're welcome to try them out before thousands of critical eyes and an occasional well-filled purse. In the village, everybody knows everybody else, more or less. Many visitors and most cab drivers are lost the moment they enter the village. But villagers state that these odd-angle streets run according to compass directions. It's the rest of Manhattan that's peculiar. With the passage of time, more and more of the old village landmarks are being chipped away and replaced. But the ones that remain, the old studios, the converted stables and carriage houses, and the last of the city's gas lights, are visible reminders of an earlier chapter in the history of New York. You can find just about anything in Greenwich Village. And hidden gardens to be found all over the village. So, this is Greenwich Village, at least on Sundays. On weekdays, that's another story.
In Washington Square at the lower end of Fifth Avenue in Greenwich Village, folk dancers and folk singers express their freedom and joy in living. Village artists display their work here in the open, and you can generally find one to paint your portrait on the spot.
competes for attention with the noisy bustle and cascade of color that is a Greenwich Village art show. And where the city center's beautiful music harmonizes with that.
And then I felt my heart beating. I was with a young lady. I looked into her eyes, soft pools like moonlight. And I said to myself, is this love? Is this love? And she looked at me and said, oh, darling, I think I'm falling in love with you. And I said, don't. I'm no good. Don't love me.
Some of them are awfully nice, and I don't blame any of them for what they have become. I blame the older generation. We are responsible for what they are today. They're fighting us. They're not satisfied with the world we created for them.
And millions more picked up from so-called friends. Not the old-fashioned pusher in those old-fashioned comic books and films, but the friends with a hang-up on pills who needs to sell them to earn bread for their own pill-popping needs.
国連ビルが一番美しく見えるのもこの辺りからです。ニューヨークの街に慣れてくるとそのコントラストの良さにお気づきになるでしょう。大都会ニューヨークにもこんなに居心地の良いところもあるのです。歩道の絵描き端にはパリやロンドン、アムステルダムにも見られるような気安さがあります。ニューヨークの人たちほど戸外の生活の好きな人種はありません。忙しいウォール街の目と鼻の先にある静かな別世界、それがワシントン広場です。
All right. My mother says there are better schools.